What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy. I want to wish you a very happy Victory Polo Monday. Today is Monday, October 24th, 2022. The Dallas Cowboys, your Dallas Cowboys, my Dallas Cowboys, our Dallas Cowboys are 5-2 thanks to their 24-6 victory over the Detroit Lions on Sunday in Week 7. I'm actually shooting this video on Monday, on the aforementioned Victory Polo Monday, ahead of Monday Night Football. The Chicago Bears, next week's Cowboys opponent, they're on the road against the New England Patriots tonight. You may have seen the game by the time you get to this video. Maybe you're an early bird and you got here before, but either way, Cowboys in a very nice position, playing a team who's coming off of a short week. The Bears, again, Monday, obviously a shorter week than a Sunday game, and a short week that's on the road. The Bears, again, in Foxborough tonight, and the Bears will also have to travel. It's not even like the Bears are on a short week on the road and then get to go home to Soldier Field and host the Cowboys. No, actually kind of an unfair situation. The Cowboys have been in that boat before. Other teams have. These kinds of things shouldn't happen when it comes to the NFL schedule. It's unfortunate for the Bears, who are obviously one of the least impressive teams in the NFL this season, but a nice situation for the Cowboys. Their final game before their bye, it very much looks like they'll get to 6-2 on the season. They are 10-point favorites. Those are the opening lines, according to our friends at DraftKings. And wanted to put this video together just kind of in that spirit. There's no graphics, no anything here for this video. Sometimes we do this where it's just you and me. We sit down and chat and talk and kind of feel our feelings out. And one of the banners here says the Dallas Cowboys are in a very good place right now. And I think this is an important thing to say out loud. You'll see, by the way, behind me, my Houston Astros in a very good place right now, that place being the World Series. I know that some of you hardcore DFW fans are pro Rangers and therefore anti-Astros, but think about it this way. We're all coming together in the name of something just evil in this world, and that's Philadelphia sports. So I take that responsibility very seriously, and we'll make sure that we get this done. Go Stros. But the Cowboys in a very good place, and I think that sometimes when it comes to this kind of season, what this season has turned into for the Cowboys, people like to live in things that we thought and things that we said many months ago. And I think that, we've been wrong about some things. I say we, and certainly I have been wrong about some things. And I think some things have just happened in a weird way. I don't think anybody saw this coming. And we've talked about that in its own right. Nobody saw what Cooper Rush did coming, how he would be able to just kind of drive the bus in the right way for the Cowboys to stay on track. But he did. And the Cowboys are playing incredible, great team football right now. And they're in an amazing position. Again, let's put their schedule up on here. We talk about this a lot. We go through this because it is important. The Cowboys have right now one of the highest probabilities of making the playoffs, and it's partly because of this right here. The Dallas Cowboys are 5-2. And if we go through this schedule and just kind of surface level 30,000-foot perspective here, they get the Bears next week. We already discussed how advantageous that is, aside from the fact that the Bears are a struggling team. But it will be fun to see Matt Eberflus on the other side of the field as an NFL head coach. I love Coach Flus. Certainly rooting for him to pull things around in Chicago. Then the Cowboys on their bye. If you are interested in the World Series, by the way, most of the games will happen while the Cowboys are off. So that's kind of a nice little surprise for us general sports fans. But then on the road against the Green Bay Packers, one of the more disappointing teams in the NFL. On the road against the Minnesota Vikings. I believe in them, but they can certainly be had on the right day. But even if you call that a loss, I think it's fair to presume the Cowboys lose one of those two road NFC North trips. Then they come home to take on the Giants on Thanksgiving Day. I know the Giants are 6-1. I know the Giants look good, but I'm not trying to be some sort of hater here, but I just don't buy that lasting. And I know people keep saying that, and I'm one of them. And the Giants have 6 wins to show for all this that isn't supposed to keep lasting. But the Cowboys are the one. The Cowboys are the one team that beat the Giants, and they did so without Dak Prescott. They did so on the road. This will be at home for the Cowboys, admittedly on a short week, but obviously an even shorter one for New York with the travel involved. Thanksgiving Day, it's my son's first birthday. There's no way the Cowboys are losing on my son's first birthday. I'm sorry. Then they've got the Colts. The Colts, as of today, by the way, on Monday, going with Sam Ehlinger at quarterback and head coach Frank Reich, who loves to blame everybody else for his problems, saying that is a decision they are hopefully making with regards to the rest of the season. So the Cowboys will draw him. That game's in primetime, by the way. So Cowboys-Colts on Sunday Night Football with Sam Ehlinger up against Dak Prescott. The Houston Texans, one of the worst teams in the NFL, on the road at Jacksonville. Again, one of the worst teams. The Cowboys are the only team in the division right now, the NFC East, that has yet to play an AFC South game. Every other team kind of benefiting from that. Obviously, every other team still looks pretty legitimate, but that's notable. I mean, the Cowboys are 5-2, so that's 7 games. That means they have 10 games remaining, and almost half of them are against the AFC South. That's a pretty wild thing to consider. But then obviously at home against the Philadelphia Eagles, that will be tough. That's Christmas Eve. I think it's fair to call that a loss, even though I think we all probably think that the Cowboys and Eagles split this series. If we're just being as conservative as possible to help calibrate our expectations, I think it's fair to call that a loss, obviously, while adjusting for anything to happen as evidenced by this season and the 5-2 start. On the road against the Titans, I don't know what that game is. I really haven't decided how I feel about that. For what it's worth, that is a Thursday night game. And I've mentioned this before, and it will get talked about a lot that week. That game on the road in Tennessee, that is on New Year's Eve, or the days leading up to New Year's Eve. It's like the 29th, I think, of December. That is going to be the first Thursday night game that the Dallas Cowboys ever play on the road on short rest. All right. Now, what I mean by that is we've seen the Cowboys play road Thursday night games before, but generally when that has happened before, they have had the Thanksgiving Day game the week before. So the Cowboys many times in the past have played at home on Thanksgiving, and then 7 days later, Thanksgiving is obviously a Thursday, so 7 days later on Thursday Night Football, and sometimes those games have been on the road, but the Cowboys have had a full normal week's worth of rest and practice and process, so to speak. They have never had to go from Sunday to Thursday on the road, which they will have to do here. So, if you think that something weird, crazy, wonky happens, I'm not past assuming that. Again, we're trying to be conservative here, but then on the road against Washington to end the season. And so if we are conservative here, if we say one of those NFC North road trips, if we say the Philadelphia Eagles game, if we say the Tennessee Titans game, again, even being somewhat conservative, I know you're probably rolling your eyes at some of those things. That's 5 losses that we're getting to. I mean, this is a team that went 12-5 a year ago. I think that is starting to become a more crystallized and clear floor for this team. I think 10 wins made sense. I actually really struggled when a lot of people said the over-under for the Cowboys at the beginning of the year was something like 9.5, 10.5. 9.5 was a little bit easy, but 10.5 I did struggle. I'm kind of willing to bump past that 10.5. If you told me 11.5, I'd still think about it a little bit, but I do think that this team is winning a soft 11 games easily. I think you can see obviously a path where they win 12, where they win 13. Obviously, if they win that Eagles game, things go a different way. They very well could be the 5th seed in the NFC with 13 wins, 12 wins, just because the Eagles might wind up in a more advantageous position because their schedule is very friendly as well. As of now, 538 has the Eagles with a higher than 99% chance of making the playoffs. Obviously, the fact that they've already beaten the Cowboys gives them the edge in not only the divisional race, but therefore the race for the number 1 seed in the NFC. And I know it sounds like we're getting far ahead of ourselves, but how could you not? How can you sit here and not talk about the Cowboys as a potential contender for that top spot? And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, man, the Cowboys are the best team in the NFC, but they kind of are in the conversation for it, are they not? I mean, here we sit again ahead of Monday Night Football, and we're talking about the NFC side of things. So it's not like the Bears are entering that conversation, even with a win against the New England Patriots. But the Dallas Cowboys have the second best point differential in the NFC. The only team in the conference with a better point differential than them are the Philadelphia Eagles. And again, we have to consider that the Cowboys, of their 7 games, have played 5 of them without the most important player on their team in their quarterback, Dak Prescott. So the offense is likely going to stabilize, certainly as the weeks continue to unfold, as the bye week happens, as the Cowboys and Dak and the offense and everybody has more time to gel and come together. In many ways, we talked about this last week, the season has just kind of started for them on offense. And so that's a really interesting dynamic to think about. And so when you look at the NFC, I do power rankings. I write them every Tuesday at bloggingtheboys.com. And this week I have the Cowboys number 4 overall. I've got the Buffalo Bills number 1. I've got the Kansas City Chiefs number 2. I've got the Philadelphia Eagles number 3. And I have the Dallas Cowboys at number 4. Yeah, you can make an argument, I guess, for the Vikings, I guess for the Giants, but the Cowboys beat the Giants. And we'll see how they stack up against the Vikings in about a month. But man, I mean, like, it's different. And some of this isn't even anything to do with the Cowboys. The Packers are down. The Buccaneers are down. The Rams are down. The Cardinals can't really impress anybody. The Saints, obviously, are a disaster. The Falcons, whatever. I mean, the Niners can't get it together. It's a combination of factors that works in the benefit of saying things like this, that the Cowboys are one of the very best teams, not just in the NFC, but the NFL. And I'm not the first person to say this. You've likely heard this take before, but it's clear that there are some sort of, tiers in the NFL right now, at least, as we wrap up the month of October. You've got the Buffalo Bills and Kansas City Chiefs at the very top. I think they're kind of in their own stratosphere. Shortly below that, you've got the Philadelphia Eagles. And then I think you do have a new tier, and that's probably where the Cowboys are at. Maybe you put the Cincinnati Bengals in that tier now that they're moving and grooving. And obviously the Cowboys beat them without Dak Prescott, so that conversation gets fun. But right now, the Dallas Cowboys are one of the more sound teams in every overall sense of the way that the game of football is played. In fact, Football Outsiders, who we love, in their DVOA metric, and if you don't know what that is, sometimes we get questions about that. DVOA essentially and effectively measures how efficient teams are, and it does calculate for quality of opponent, because a lot of people love to say, well, they beat so-and-so, whatever. No, DVOA takes that into consideration. This is prior to Monday Night Football, so these are subject to change, these rankings, because of the Bears and the Patriots. But again, unlikely to impact the top of the order here. As you can see on the screen, Football Outsiders says the Cowboys third in overall team DVOA, only behind the Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, DVOA also can be looked at on different sides of the ball as far as quarterbacks are concerned, et cetera, et cetera. But looking at particular sides of the ball, the Dallas Cowboys ranked second in the NFL in DVOA on defense. Now, they rank 18th on offense. They did technically regress right now. They were 17th last week, but they did not exactly have the best offensive performance. I was going to say the word performance and showing at the same time. And so, your confidence, your ability to feel excited or to feel whatever about this team likely falls with how willing you are to trust the offense, how willing you are to trust the idea that they're going to figure it out, that things are going to come together, that with time. And that's the thing, and I'm not in any way trying to sell the idea that average is cool or that average is the goal. But even if this team is average, I'm going to put this up on the screen again. Football Outsiders currently has the Cowboys third in overall team DVOA, and they are 18th in offense. All right. Think about that. They are technically the third overall team with the 18th best offense by this metric. So what if the offense, and what if you just get a top 12 offense, top 13 offense, top 10 offense, right? You're not aiming that high. And again, I'm not saying that's the standard, but if that happens, if those things come along, if those ducks get in a row, then we are legitimately talking about, we are currently, but we are even more so legitimately talking about one of the very best teams in the National Football League, which is really exciting. So I just wanted to come in here today and kind of talk about that, kind of just let our feelings, be out and share them with one another. That's the whole point around here. It's a fun and exciting time, and we're very grateful to share it with you. I know this is our YouTube channel, but in case you are a podcast listener, we do have a podcast. The Blog on the Boys Podcast Network is available wherever you get your podcasts. We have multiple shows that come out every day. You can hear me on there, obviously, a lot. And as of Sunday night, Monday morning, we passed 3 million downloads on the year, the calendar year of 2022. We are north of 3 million podcast downloads. We are very grateful. Thank you so much to everybody who listens to us. We have such a talented group of talented group of analysts and people who discuss the Cowboys and debate the Cowboys and dive deep on the Cowboys. We offer such a wide variety of shows that are all accessible for free and available to you, again, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple devices, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Stitcher, whatever the case may be. I know that there are different podcast platforms that different people prefer, but if you do like podcasts, if you do like listening to people talk about the Cowboys, check us out, Blog on the Boys. Search for us, leave a rating, write a review. Those things definitely help. My name is RJ Ochoa. You can hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at RJ Ochoa. My DMs are open if you have any comments, questions, points of criticism, or want to talk about the World Series, because obviously I'm excited to do that. You can follow me on TikTok, rj.ochoa, where you get minute-long videos like this. Obviously, this is not a minute, but if you want to email me, if you are feeling old school, it's crazy how old school email feels nowadays, rj.ochoa@sbnation.com is the best way to do that. You can also always leave a comment here on our videos on our YouTube channel, and we'll do our best to get to those as well. This season has wound up very surprising, very fun. The good times are rolling. I know it doesn't feel like a conventional or normal good Dallas Cowboys season. I know it feels like the bottom's supposed to come out, but they keep finding ways. And I think that, one of the true hallmarks of a great team is not only finding ways to win consistently, but finding ways to win ugly. And so if you can win ugly consistently, I know that doesn't sound sexy or pretty, but it is a pretty admirable quality of an NFL team, of an NFL coaching staff, and of an NFL roster. And so we're excited to see where this ride goes. Excited to share it with you. Excited to to live it all together as one big Dallas Cowboys family. Thank you so much for checking this video out today, everybody. We hope you have a great day. Go Astros, go Cowboys, and go you. Hope you have the best day ever. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.